Welcome back to another edition of the Night Report podcast. I'm your host, Mike Broadbent. Joining me once again are my co-hosts, Richie and Alec. A lot of stuff to cover today. Another commitment for the Scarlet Knights, this time in a running back. Flipped from Toledo, Michael Dukes out of Detroit. We'll go into who he is as a player. And then on the second part of this two-part podcast, we're going to go through a preview of this upcoming visit weekend, go through all the players that are visiting, do a little over-under for how many commits that we are projecting out of this weekend, and talk about each player individually. But first, this podcast is presented to you by MyBookie. It's crunch time on the court, and the NBA playoffs are your chance to score big. Whether you're riding high with the favorites or cheering for the underdog, every three-pointer dunk and buzzer beater is an opportunity to win at MyBookie. Place your bets live as the action unfolds, and if you're feeling confident, you can lock in your winnings early with a quick cash-out option. Never miss the chance to turn your basketball insights into real cash. If you're new to MyBookie, you can sign up today with our promo code MM50 and get an instant deposit boost of 50%. So if you deposit $50, you can get another $25 for free. More action, more excitement, and more chances to win during basketball's most intense playoff season. When the games wrap up, you could also continue your winning streak at MyBookie's Casino. You got slots, blackjack, roulette, and more. The thrills never stop. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only with MyBookie. All right, so Michael Dukes took an official visit to Rutgers as a Toledo commit, and he left campus and decided a few days later Toledo didn't really work for him anymore. He decided to commit to the Scarlet Knights. Richie, how did this commitment unfold, and how did Rutgers get involved with this kid in terms of wanting him at Rutgers?
Yeah, so Demir Shaw went out there to his high school. They knew about him. They're pretty familiar with who he was. I mean, hell, any running back in the Midwest that's going to average 10-plus yards per carry, you should be pretty familiar with, or most schools should be familiar with. But, yeah, they just offered back on May 21st. So it was really a quick just kind of, hey, here's the offer. Like, we want to get you on campus ASAP. You're our top running back recruit. So they hosted him on that first weekend, official visit weekend. Sounded like things went really well. I actually expected this to be one of the first commitments out of the weekend. Then all of a sudden, 18 other commitments happened. Now, I'm exaggerating. It wasn't 18, obviously. But I think it was like, 7, 8, something like that. But, yeah, no, they offered him, got him to campus, and just sealed the deal. He loved everything about it. There was some little concern there because – I'm sorry. They offered in mid-May. Michigan State offered on May 21st, a couple days later. And there was a little bit of an issue there because people were a little scared that Michigan State – hometown school, Detroit, Michigan kid, like it's going to be a factor, and ended up not being too much of a factor, or it could be, I guess, still technically, because he was supposed to visit this upcoming weekend to Michigan State. Sounds like that visit right now is off the table, but who knows? Things are weird. These are teenage kids; they could just show up on a visit. But yeah, Rutgers got him to campus, sealed the deal. Demir Shaw wanted him as the top running back in his class, and they got him.
Yeah, and we'll go to his tape in a minute.
Yeah, that's a must now. I don't know if you read all the YouTube comments.
I didn't. Did people say
there are a bunch? You have to put the tape up from now on. And I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. Perfect. Jeez.
Before we go into the tape, though, Michael Dukes, he was at an Under Armour camp recently, and he had some pretty impressive numbers coming out of that camp. 4.62 on the laser time, 4.49 on the laser shuttle. He broad jumped 9.6. He didn't do a vert. Weighed in at 6'1", 191 pounds. 172 10-yard split. We'll get into the tape here. But Alec, when you were going over his tape, what were some of the things that stood out to you?
The first thing that sticks out is definitely his breakaway speed. He's not really a guy where he doesn't have the same quick twitch burst that we've seen some other running backs have, but he definitely has that kind of speed where he just accelerates the more he goes downhill. And we see that I don't know if this is intentional or not, but we see that his high school's offense, look at the breakaway speed on this clip. We see his high school's offense do a lot of under center running to kind of get him that full head of steam. By the time he gets through the hole in the offensive line, can just burst through. So the breakaway speed definitely sticks out. He's got some solid balance where he's able to bounce off some tackles as well. It's not his strongest trait, but it's definitely there. Yeah, definitely. Just the way he's able to just break through the front seven and just get into the second level and outrun them, I think is definitely his best trait. I do think it's interesting. He's a little bit more of a bigger back compared to what Rutgers has targeted in the past couple of years, and obviously they've had success with guys like Kyle Munungai and things like that. Similar builds like Ed Greer, Gabe Winwich was a bigger back, but Terrell Mitchell, guys like that, start kind of taking a bigger back here. But I still think he has some pretty solid traits of running backs that Rutgers likes. He's got that speed where he can bounce the outside as well and kind of accelerate up the field. I think the biggest thing that we're seeing here is just his ability to accelerate as he goes, and then once he gets to the second level, he can really outrun guys in that second level of the defense. So yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing. I mean, we haven't really seen much of in like the receiving game or blocking or anything like that. But from a pure running standpoint, I definitely like what I see. I like the speed. Interested to see how he progresses in the college level.
How about you, Rich? What do you see in his tape that stands out?
His offensive line's really good.
Yeah.
I was just looking now because I don't really know much about the school. I know they produce talent when it comes to like skill positions, but I didn't really know if they produced offensive linemen. And yeah, the one kid's like ranked 240 in the 2027 class, so that it makes a lot of sense why his offensive line is so good. Even the smaller guys out there, like the center, the one guard, like they look really good.
Yeah, I was going to mention that too. It's like it really helps him get that full head of steam and just go straight downhill when you look at some of the holes that he gets from the offensive line too.
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of skill position guys on this team, and the fact that he's able to kind of shine above them. I mean, they have a Cincinnati commit. There's another couple guys that have Power 5 offers in 27, 28. There's a 28 running back that's actually a little bit of a smaller build that is going to push for some playing time. But I mean, he averaged 10 yards a carry. Like you see all these clips, like he's just running past everybody. So I think that's a little bit of concern because the Big Ten it's bully football. Like you're going to be getting hit nonstop. Not like this kid who's not getting touched till he's 10 yards down the field, but I think more at the line of scrimmage. He's able to shed tackles here and there, and he has a nice stiff arm. You saw on I think it was the second play of this or second clip of this huddle tape. But I would like to see a little bit more from him. I wish he was a little more elusive. I think he's just outrunning a lot of these guys. But I do think there's some solid traits there that you can really teach. And I mean, Demir Shaw turned Kamanangai into one of the best, if not the best, back in the Big Ten over the past couple years. So I think you just got to trust him at this point. I think it's a good back. I wouldn't be surprised if they had a second back, and then you can kind of go from there. And maybe if one pans out, great. If both pan out, even better.
I'm also looking. I didn't realize Dante Moore went to this high school too.
Did he? I didn't even notice that one either.
Oh yeah, the quarterback at he's at Oregon now, right? He started at UCLA.
Yes, yep. I think he's their starter this year, right?
I mean, I would hope so if he transferred there.
Oh yeah,
I believe he is. Yeah, one of those rare transfers where he came in knowing that he would be sitting behind an incumbent, and he was fine with it, which you don't see often for guys transferring who are 5 stars.
See that's a good clip right there.
Yeah,
like
this is from
I believe this
hit
and keeps going.
I believe this is from the state championship game last year, which they did not win, but against Zeeland West, obviously they're playing in Ford Field here.
Yeah, that first clip just shows that good balance too. Despite
that offensive line is really good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I was really impressed by that line. Like
get Pat Flaherty on the phone with some of these guys.
In the early look ahead to the class of 2027, his high school has 2 of the top 10 players in the state of Michigan in athlete Daryl Flemister. I'm sorry for mispronouncing your name there. And then Jameer Henry, who is, like you said, ranked in the Rivals Top 250 early in the class of 2027 at offensive tackle. So you talked about kind of that Rutgers might take 2 running backs in this class with Jonathan Brown visiting this weekend. Does that put Dukes possibly at risk of looking elsewhere, or is he comfortable with 2 backs in this class?
I think he'll be okay with the 2-back thing. It's more so how much is Michigan State gonna, put on the table, and also how much is Michigan State gonna push. So it kind of goes hand in hand, I guess, in today's day and age of recruiting, because NIL is just out and about. Michigan State really needs a running back. They wanted Dukes to wait to commit and say, hey, come visit us first, and you can make your decision. There's a chance he still visits this weekend. We'll probably know later today or even tomorrow if he's on campus or not. In East Lansing. I mean, it's local. It's the closest school. They didn't really offer till, like I said, May 21st. So it's hard to really gauge how much interest they had in him. And it's kind of, he feels it as a little bit of a slight, but at the same time, Rutgers didn't offer till what, like May 8th, May 9th. So
Yeah, that's the burden that you don't have to carry as the out-of-state school
yeah,
that you have as an in-state. Yeah.
so it's definitely something to monitor. The funny part about this all, and I sent this to you guys yesterday, is that so Michael Dukes was a Toledo commit. Toledo's commit flips to Rutgers, and now Jonathan Brown gets a Toledo offer, and it's like, okay, well, I see what Toledo's doing. They're just going to follow whatever Rutgers does. They're basically Pitt of the Midwest now. Yeah, I do think there's a chance Jonathan Brown could end up committing too this weekend, and we'll talk about that in a different pod. But yeah, I mean, I think there's a chance that this is a 2-back class, and that's a good thing. That's never a bad thing.
I do think it's interesting that he could still make that Michigan State visit because, I mean, usually the MO for the program is like once you commit, kind of shut down the rest of your visits. So, I mean, again, it's tough to battle with the in-state schools, so we'll see how that ends up working out. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that works out.
As Richie alluded to, though, we'll get into all of that in the next half of this pod. So if you're in your podcast feed, don't go anywhere. You'll have the next pod just be fed right to you. But we'll talk about all the visitors for this weekend and where we think they end up. Right now, stay tuned. Back in a sec.